Hello, and welcome back to Screenworks. I'm John Riarte, curator of the digital programs at the Photographers Gallery in London. For those of you who this is your first Screenworks is a collaborative program by Fotomuseum Winterthur in Switzerland and the Photographers Gallery in London. It's a fortnightly series of live stream events in which both institutions have joined forces to continue investigating the changing role of photography on its network and digital forms. Each event is led by an artist, a researcher, or a curator who takes the audience to the places where their core artistic practice takes place. Every event is different. It can be a live performance, a behind-the-scenes scenario, or a guided tour, among many other formats. We started this program more than 2 years ago, and we have hosted more than 40 Screenworks so far that you can find on our website and also on our YouTube channel. For those who already know the format, we are very happy and excited to have you back with us again. We have a very exciting new season prepared and coming up, so we hope that you enjoy it as much as we enjoy doing the Screenworks. And also, please remember that if you found the Screenworks useful for your professional or personal interests, do consider subscribing to folders. For €7 or around like £6 per month, you will support the program and its artists, and also get your personalized folder on folders.screenworks.com. And there you will receive files and extra content from the artists and the researchers from Screenworks. And now some housekeeping information for the event today. Your microphone should be muted to avoid noise disturbances. If that's not the case, please mute them now. And we are recording, and we will be archiving this event, so you can turn off your camera if you don't want to be recorded. Please use the public chat to send any questions that you might have for Stefan, or alternatively send private messages to Marco, Fotomuseum Winterthur, or to me.
And hello from me too. My name is Marco Demutis. I'm digital curator at Fotomuseum Winterthur. Today we will be taking a tour through the recent history of the photographic image on social media platforms, with special attention to the role networked images have played on Instagram since its birth in 2010 until now. To take us on this tour is Swiss artist Stefan Karrer, who has collected photos and text uploaded to Instagram and other social media portraying a cave in Malta, which is supposed to be a location described in the Odyssey. Calypso Cave is the mythological place where Odysseus was kept prisoner of love by a beautiful nymph. And for 7 years, the Greek hero was enchanted by Calypso and only released thanks to the intervention of Zeus himself. A cave on the Maltese island of Gozo has been named Calypso Cave, following the location of the fictional story from the Odyssey. However, the cave was closed to the public after a partial collapse in 2010, shortly after the social photo sharing app Instagram was launched. While the cave remains inaccessible, Instagram users have started sharing pictures of the cave on the opposite side of the bay, naming it as the mythological location and tagging it with the hashtag Calypso Cave. Stefan Karrer's collection documents the unofficial and relentless relocation of the legend of Calypso. The new Calypso Cave obfuscates the old one throughout the rise and growth of the Instagram platform. And this shows the power of online images to modify and shape realities and to create new myths on top of old myths. Stefan Karrer is a Swiss artist based in Basel and Vienna. His artistic practice focuses on the politics and poetics of internet culture, spanning from appropriation of digital content to audiovisual computational performances. He completed his BA in sound art and MA in contemporary arts practice at the Bern University of the Arts. In 2017, he was awarded the Basel Media Art Prize. He has shown his work at Les Rencontres d'Art, CO Berlin, Centre Culturel Suisse, Kunstraum Niederösterreich, Fotomuseum Winterthur, Kunsthalle Basel, Biennale für Aktuelle Fotografie in Mannheim, HEC in Basel, and many other venues. Dear Stefan, thank you so much for being with us today. The screen is yours.
Hello. Thanks for the introduction and thanks for inviting me. I'm happy to be here, wherever this is. got dark outside. And I will go to share my screen right now. All right, so I will just go ahead and jump right into Google Maps. And just to show you the basic situation of this whole thing, I will zoom out and go to the center on the Mediterranean Sea, which its shape I'm very obsessed with. I like to look at the Mediterranean, but this is another topic. But I will then zoom into Malta in the center of the Mediterranean, and on the smaller sister island of Gozo, where on the northern side of this island there is a beach called Ramla Beach. Well, there we are, and on each side of this beach there is a cave. You can see here there is Tal Mishta cave. I hope I pronounced it correctly. And not visible right now, but it will be soon. On the other side of the beach, there's our Calypso cave, which this work, this project of mine is about. Well, actually it's about this whole very nice symmetrical, I want it to be symmetrical, it's not quite, but it's about this symmetrical situation. And so this is the situation. You have a cave on each side of the bay, and one of them is called, I don't know how long, but since before the internet, I guess, it's called Calypso Cave. And so you now have the basic overview about this, where this work is, situated in, I mean, one part of it is in this real geographic location. Okay, and then I will jump over to this project website that I did, and I've made a selection. You can see for Screenwalk, which has a, I mean, there's a publication, and it has been also a video installation. I will show that later, and this is the third version of this project, if you want to. So there again, you have a basic introduction. This 1 and 2 is the location of the caves, and there's 1 and 2 corresponds to this arrangement of 1 cave on the left side and 1 cave on the right side. And here you can see it from the perspective of the people visiting the caves and taking photographs. So here you can see, sorry, I'm struggling with the, well, how do I minimize this up? Here you can see, okay, it says, well, I collected a lot of images, about 5,000, mainly from Instagram, and but also from other sources, like, I mean, you can see here the dates on the bottom of the screen, and the source F is Flickr, which in the 2000s, I guess, was the main medium for sharing images. So you can see here, looking from Calypso's cave onto the red sandy beach on the northern coast of Gozo. And on the other side, you can see view from Tal Mishta cave in Gozo. So here again, you have this very nice symmetric situation. You can see almost the bay is always visible, and it's almost like a mirror image of each other. So I will go a few slides, how the situation was, I mean, in a quotation mark original state. Here it says, this is one of the most shot locations in Gozo. This was 2006, for example, also on Flickr. Says here it's free to steal, so I took it. And here it says you can just about spot Calypso Cave on the western side of the bay. So here we are looking from Mishta Cave out directly on to the other arm of the bay, and somewhere around here should be is Calypso Cave. There's also a viewing platform on the cave, on top of the cave. And here you can see it even more clearly. You can look out from Calypso Cave and see here this spot, this black hole, which is this view on the on the right side. So I will just go on. And of course, like Marco already said, this cave is linked to this Homeric myth of Odysseus and Calypso, where on the returning from the war, he just could not go home, and amongst other places, he was stuck here for 7 years, or held back. Depends how you phrase it. So we can see that later. For 7 years. And just one other basic thing. This is always the caption that was coming with the uploaded image. So I go on. Here you can see there are like variations of how you phrase this short this myth. Here it says, Odysseus is claimed to have been held captive in this cave as concubine to the nymph Calypso. So what's the problem? Where's the drama? And I guess he meant, or I guess it's a guy, because you can see how the people phrase the myth that they would like to be there and they don't see the problem. But here I use it as an introduction. So what's the problem? Where's the drama? And of course, on the other side, you can see here already, sometimes it got confused, or it just also got called Calypso Cave, because this is again the view from the other side, and the views from Calypso Cave are spectacular. So this is the basic situation. And then it changes because two things happened. That's how I frame it. One is that the Calypso Cave on the left, it collapsed, and so the view was blocked. You can see here people still go inside at the beginning, but then some around August 2011 it has been closed for the visitor completely. But on the left side the view is still very much intact and beautiful. And then as a second event, Instagram happened. So it was launched in October 2010, and just had a 10-year anniversary. And also me, just to say, this Instagram images I did collect with an automated crawler, like a scraper, and I stopped at the end of 2021. So I have 10 years of material on Instagram, and then some manually gathered material from before, and also from other sources like Twitter, TripAdvisor, and so on. And here, of course, you can see in the beginning, Instagram had a forced square. This was the first image of Calypso Cave that was tagged like Calypso Cave. I was searching for those tags that showed up. I don't know if there has been before, but this was the first that I found. So, and yeah, you can see there is the square format on Instagram. The other side is Facebook. There is no, I did not find the cave, a photo of Mishta Cave until a bit later. There is this filter that yeah, Instagram was famous for, which had saturated colors and this Polaroid or analog-like style. So you can observe this. Of course, again, yeah, Calypso Cave recently collapsed. This is an unofficial view from inside the cave with the scaffolding and the blocked view, and it's very dangerous to go inside, even forbidden. Again, the forced square format. So now I can just go through a jump in time. I go ahead and tell the story in a straight version. So there is a shift or a relocation, as Marco phrased it, going on via tagging the images. Also on the other side, and again, this nice symmetry, you can almost, yeah, and I go on the left side, the hashtag Calypso Cave, because there is no cave, it gets less and less attributed to this side, but more and more attributed to the right side. And also with the help later then, I think since 2013, yeah, it got more and more turned into a marketplace, and you can have advertisements with the help also of that, because yeah, it's just a nicer image on this side. And then even until on stock photo, it got called Calypso Cave. This one, I think 2018 was like the peak of the shift. Like if you wanted to be a relocation. Also, this was when Valletta was the capital of culture of, I don't know, European Union. Funny stuff like a mirror image on the other side. And then, yeah, we have always the inversion of the situation. It's a very common shot and much posted shot of Ramla Bay directly from the legendary Calypso Cave of Gozo Island. Yeah, and then I also find interesting to collect like these nice mini stories or remarks in the captions, like I care about the authenticity of my photo and will upload more shots taken that day. Yeah, so this is now the authentic Calypso Cave, and it becomes the classic view of Calypso Cave. While here you have to search for it, or it's not even present, the hashtag. It's just a viewpoint now. Yeah, so that's just the basic story that I now talked a long time about. I have to look at the notes. Yeah, I guess now I can go to Instagram and have a look how it looks at the moment. I can explore the hashtag and see what's the situation today. Of course, I'm not really on Instagram, so this is just the generic material. Looks terrible. Terrible. And I go to search for Calypso Cave. Hashtag Calypso Cave, so 2,100 posts. It's not really it's not the most famous nature site that you can find on Instagram. But you can see on the top post, and this is nice, is my book, which yeah, we published with Mark Petzinger Verlag in Vienna last year. So it's here, that's good. But also here, if I want to have a quick overview, what's the situation? Okay, it's 9 images and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out of 9 are on the right hand side in the Mishta cave, and the new and relocated location, and only 1 is clearly on the other side. So you can say, in a way, this relocation has caught on. And then, of course, there is another thing that I searched for is the geographic, the location ID. This is Calypso Cave. This is the second way you can tag the image, and I also searched for these images, so I can now explore the location ID. Again, you can see the bay, and again, it looks almost the same, very golden, shiny images. And here you can see the most recent ones. Yeah, so I had I collected them automatically with the help of a computer program, but then I had to go through and have my own artistic criteria to search for the images. There were like criteria. You have to always see the bay from both sides, and no person is looking in the camera. Almost all the time being a shadow looking out of the cave, like this almost romantic form of images. So I guess, I mean, I would have, can you see my cursor? I would take this one, I would take this one. And here I would guess, I mean, this, if I would do the work now, this would be maybe in it. There is like a reference to Odysseus, like even a direct quote from the Odyssey. This would maybe end up in that if I would do it now. Of course, a lot. And yeah, now I will just
Stefan, I know you told us that we could jump in sometimes if we had some questions.
that's yeah, of course, yeah.
I just wanted to ask you why, or like, what was the reason for your criteria? Because you just talked about like this aesthetic criteria that you used.
Yeah, I mean that the symmetry and the mirror situation is just very clear. And of course, I don't want to have people recognizable looking into the camera. This was another one. Yeah, and then just basic taste, I guess. But yeah, this is the 2 main reasons. That it's like a constant. The situations keeps, the perspective is more or less the same. Of course, you could do it completely differently. But yeah.
And is that related to like this idea of the mirror? Is it related to the spreadsheet of the book, or is more of like a general idea that you want to like oppose, like the create these oppositions in between both caves on the project, regardless if they are, well, the images will go in a book or in installation, a website, or anything else?
No, it was just to get the geographic situation and to show that in the work as well. I guess this was just at the beginning my main fascination, that is, you can look from one cave to the other and from the other to the other, and it's like a constant back and forth between the 2 caves. So it's I did not even I did not even know, I was not searching for it. It just when I was doing some work about the Mediterranean and the submarine the internet cables, then I came across to this bay, and I don't know, I ended up with one image, and from there it just went on and on. I'm just now looking for the I wanted to show the book, how it looks like. Maybe I need to go back to the hashtag. Well, there it is, but I wanted to show another one. Well, okay, I can. Well, there is the same situation. I basically on the website I recreated this one, yeah. So, but I wanted and on the installation version you can see it on my website. Yeah, the publication is called Views on Views. So this is like a and then the installation. Sorry, now I lost a bit.
Stefan, you're getting lost in your own website.
It's a terrible. Yeah, this was the one. There's another sound work with a synthesizer in the back. In the back, you can see the one projection, and there it was not next to each other, but it was like itself in the room, like a cave situation, and you were somehow in between this mirror situation. And then it was much more like 5,000 posts, just with the unfiltered, more or less. Well. Go after one another, and it was, and then for the book I just condensed it to like 200 pages, like 100 entries on each side. Yeah, that's just to show the different forms it has taken now. And I guess, yeah, the other thing I wanted to do now, I mean, this is, I told you the basic story, but of the relocation, but I think the details are much more funny and interesting. Like there is more like a back and forth. Is it this one? Is it that one? It's a story of confusion and mixing up things. Even like here, like things like this, the view to Calypso's Cove, and Cove is, I think, like a bay or a beach, and it says, the sightseeing bus stopped here for 7 minutes. I don't know if 7 is for us to take photos. All you can see is the beach below, which is in a cove. Made me wonder whether this was a typo years ago. Someone meant Calypso Cove, but wrote cave, and the name has since stuck. So for me, these are the more interesting miniature stories in these things. Things like there's a viewing platform on top. It's really nice, except that the sun burns your skin. So this says, okay, the collapse had forced people into the sun. And then on this side, you can see there's like a alternative reality coming up. It says this is the alternative and more stunning Calypso cave. And then also the confusion, I think I saw it, it's on the other side of the bay. It's not where the road direction would have you believe. Yeah, then I also arranged it in the book that you can, it's like a walk across the bay. There is a passage near the abandoned mansion that leads straight down to the beach. Things like this, yeah, again, from the real Calypso's cave. Can you spot the cave on the other side of the bay? That's the Calypso cave. So there's a long way of, there's always confusion about it. And then here, the authentic Calypso cave. The other thing that I talked about earlier was this rephrasing of the myth, like these small variations on the myth, like this is where Odysseus was imprisoned as a sex slave for 7 years by Uber nymph Calypso. True story. And stuff like this. Yeah, this is, and then of course you can observe more technical stuff or media specific stuff. Like I talked about the filter and the square format. And this, I mean, this landscape got forced into a square. This is still also a square. But then in 2015, they allowed other aspect ratios. So now you have the landscape image as well. And then, of course, you can observe how the captions changed more and more. Hashtags, I think, and emojis also got more and more popular. And a lot of stuff I observed happened, the most of the changes happened in between 2014 and 18. I think there's a lot going on there. And also funny stuff that I like is, okay, there's always this graffiti on the building below. And if I want to, I thought, okay, can I find out on which day this graffiti was done? And then, okay, I saw on 2016 in April the 12th, this graffiti was not there yet. And the next entry that I found on April 19th, okay, the graffiti is there. But of course, this is not precise enough to, to find out who did it, but I can now know in which week this graffiti was done. That since then has just stuck there. And this almost like concrete poetry of like for me, like for tags, like for a follow, like for followers, like for a comment, like for the like team. It gets absurd, and it gets very much like a marketplace with the repost. So you can see this is on the right side, the same picture that gets reposted. And also yeah, I like Marcus said, this influencer or companies taking the images of regular users and reposting them and mentioning them and featuring these images. The yoga pose gets very popular, but of course you know all this from other Instagram stuff. For me it was interesting, yeah. Bank says, I'm poor, but I'm feeling rich. So yeah, people working, but they think they have a unique experience, but in a way they don't have. And then the final stage of confusion is when, I mean, they see this cave tagged Calypso Cave, and they go there as well. When you're looking for a specific cave the whole time and realizing later that it was on the complete other side. Trust Google Maps, they told me. Yeah, and then even the fear and I mean, they then the negative, the collapse is also transported to the other side. Where is it? Well, I could go on. I don't know if how much time has.
Oh, I think that we can also maybe jump in with some question.
That would be nice if there are questions. Yeah, I guess I stop here. I wanted to show a few other things. Yeah.
I think that this is actually a super interesting thing about the work, that you can read it. And, you know, we were also talking about it before the screen work, about like how you can read it diagonally. You can read it as a history of the platform, or also as you are doing right now, like looking how it evolves, how the styles evolve, how also like companies come in when it's the moment. And also I think maybe you can drop a link in the chat for people who are interested in the publication. You can do a little plug of your book, which I recommend to everybody. But yeah, also for everybody, feel free to send questions in the chat and we'll bring it to Stefan. I think that one question that I had, like, could you, so there is this relocation, as we called it, right, of this cave that at the beginning of the book in pre-Instagram era is in this cave. Calypso cave is here, and then at the end of the book, kind of it progressively go towards the other cave, right? Did you, or could you notice like a specific moment where that happened?
You mean
if
like
you go in throughout these images, there's a moment where like there's an image that made a difference, or there's a moment in time where everybody kind of like, I mean, I know that of course the first cave was closed because of safety reasons, because it collapsed, but just in terms of the images, if there's a moment where we can see, I guess I'm looking for that, you know, like moment in which Instagram becomes so powerful that the image makes a difference in reality.
Yeah. Well, I have not found one, like, if you want to say, like, very, like one with a post with a lot of followers that then from then on it got exploded, because that's also the nice thing. I think it did not have this moment like maybe other places, like this famous waterfall in Germany that's now closed and that was just exploding from visitors via Instagram. I don't think this cave has had its moment.
And actually, just a follow-up question, because you mentioned, you know, like the likes. You decided on purpose to leave the metrics of likes out, or not to mention that?
Yeah, I did not even think about it, but it's true. I was not interested in it, obviously. Yeah, the likes.
Tell us the truth. Was it the first time that you used Instagram?
In a way, yes. I have one post there, and I just have the account to scrape. And you know, yeah, I'm more like a analphabet, Instagram analphabet. It's true. But in a way, yeah, it has this aspect of course, yeah, investigation into the platform, but to me, there's also other aspects to it, like, but of course it's in the center. Yeah. I mean, what I wanted to show also as well, when they say trust Google Maps, it's what they told me, and then they end up on the other side. Or they say, okay, I Googled it, and I think this confusion, of course, is also a bit, if you have a service like Google Maps, it's a bit, it's problematic. It's a bit funny because, of course, the latest images are from the other side, and I think it's just stuff like this is just it's just interesting. If you Google it, the cave.
So geographically it's correct, but the images are from the opposite cave. So it's spreading outside of that platform into these other platforms as well.
Yeah. So if you then follow the Google directions, then you end up in the I mean the correct. I have to be careful. Correct. Like the original Calypso cave. But then, of course, if you have seen the Instagram images and you want to go to this spectacular cave to take photos, then you end up on the wrong cave in a way. So, and also if you Google it, then you see as in their site info that they collected, it's the wrong cave. So it's the right on the map. I guess it's the correct, but it suggests another view. That's what I want to say. And that's stuff like this, and this also changes. I did a few screenshots. Until recently, this was another image, and of course, this service depends on what the users, I guess, or where they have the images from and how they are tagged. and stuff like this. Yeah.
I have another question from the audience. Marius is asking is if how do you see the difference in the depicted with the change from the forced square format to landscape and portrait? Have you seen any difference when that changed?
Yeah, I mean, you can see the moment, and of course people prefer, I guess they prefer to have other formats and the specific formats how they took the photo, because before it was just cropping the image in a, I guess, again, I'm not an experienced Instagrammer. Does it crop randomly or not crop? Crop. But of course the square it does not show up that often. Then after this, I think we can have a look. I mean, it still shows up. It still shows up, but other than that, I have not observed anything else.
Mm-hmm. I was also wondering, what's your take on mythological stories? Because I mean, when you're facing each of the caves in front of each other, you have the feeling that you are also sort of like confronting the let's call them traditional mythological stories that are meant not to be fully true, but they do use some moral and ethic background, usually traditionally from the different churches or like faiths, and maybe some sort of like faith that comes from social media as well, on the metrics and the likes and the shares and the attention that these images can provoke, regardless also of like if this is the truthful, let's call it, cave or not. So do you think there's like a relationship, like a confrontational relationship between those two myths? Is there like a relationship is that something that you consider?
Or? Well, it's interesting in this way. I have not looked at it, but now I just forgot what I want to say. I mean, in a way, what I want to say in the end, I had the feeling that it's more or less, I mean, the myth for the people, they don't care too much. I mean, there is now there's a whole other story about the tendency to restore the order, like the government has a restoration plan, but now it seems, and here you see Mixta Cave discovered the island's Instagram hotspot. In a way, it does not even matter the old myth. It's more like like you said, the new one. Somewhere it says it's not important the journey or the destination, but the view. So the view is everything. Here they tell you how do you get there if you are on the wrong side. And of course, this restoration and conservation project has not gone anywhere. And here is just the influencer not even mentioning the myth, but producing new kinds of stuff. Yeah. And of course with a cat. And then like this. And the other thing is that I found it I think people talked a lot about the connection of cave and social media, or cave and being in lockdown, and that was also I did this work in the end. There's a lot of talking about cave and being in a cave and in front of the screen, so stuff like this. Yeah.
That was actually my next question, because so you did this project in 2021, right? So or during the pandemic, and I think this idea of the myth also resonated with me, with this idea of conspiracy theories, which grew very large, especially during this period. Or we've seen how like the internet. And this is one case where we see images, especially, you know, like creating a specific reality. So I was wondering if that was also something that you were connecting to.
Yeah, very much. So like I said, when there was this not a clear decision, it's on this side, or now it's on this side, but only on this side. But there were a lot of posts like, this is the new real Calypso cave. I mean, there's a lot of phrasing. This is the alternative Calypso cave. This is the new real, the authentic, or the other one is a hoax. I think it's here. So stuff like this resonates. Yeah, and I also thought about that. Like there is not a decision, but there are two parallel realities that exist next to each other. And yeah, each one is true. Yeah. So like here.
Somebody was asking me if there will be like a Screenworks led bus tour to the cave. In the so I think, Stefan, you can start also setting up this other side of the business on top of the publication.
Yeah, I'm in talk with someone in Gozo or in Malta, and I want to do an event there, or have the book in the souvenir shop, something like this, and the bus tour. Yeah, I could set up something. That would be nice.
And I just got a
I have not been there.
From an alumni from Screenworks, other Swiss artist Florian Moser. Thanks for the talk. He loves the story when suddenly a real event changes the digital map and through that changes the real again. I would have a question. Did he ever go to the cave? And if so, to which side? And if you had to pick a side, which side would you go? I will add.
Yeah, nice. I have not been, because I thought I have to finish the work, and you know, I sometimes call it to build up a synthetic memory of the place. I don't know if you can call it like this or if it's already taken, but like a artificial memory. And now, of course, I would start with the original cave on the left side and then walk down, see the graffiti, go inside this abandoned hotel, down to the beach, have a drink, and then walk up there across. I just would have a walk across the bay, but starting, of course, with the left side.
I also have a comment from the audience. It's not that much of a question, but more of like an open commentary, I guess, on the work that says, I think it's quite interesting how tourists today, with a strong preference in visiting photographable monuments or sightseeing, seem to also have a strong opinion on how the monument should look like a cave. In this case, that has to be a cave. That they are ready to even restore the published geographical information about this historical mythological place. I'm sure this will apply to other places in the world, and it could make us think further on the reception and antiquity today, more through image culture and less on historical information. So how images like are creating also these historical monuments or touristic even places, no? More than the actual, maybe factual, if you want to, information about them.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think, I mean, I guess that the work and this project revolves around this idea, no? About like how the image of the touristic places goes beyond the place itself, no?
Yeah, I'm not sure if I understood it correctly. But in a way, I also have this yeah, I'm not sure if I understood the question, but I heard that's what I heard. I think yeah, of course. Could you maybe?
Yes, saying that the way in which we photograph and we share images and we circulate them, like images of touristic places or monuments or historic places, are shaping them, are creating them way more than the places themselves. So yeah. the image culture is more important now than the historical information about those places.
That's true, but yeah, funny is that the other one is just also not fact, or it's just a myth to begin with, you know. And on the other hand, I would also be a bit disappointed if there is written Calypso cave and there is no cave. So in a way, it's a very simple thing happening, but also at the same time complicated.
Yeah, no, it's nice also to question like the supposed historical facts, no, and if they are like as they are supposed to be, or how they are like expressed and explained. Yeah, that's also a nice turn in the work. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, Stefan, do you want to leave us also with a link to the book? Did you do it already? Don't forget this.
Yes, I will do that. I will do that by. Should I just link to the how do you say, a publisher? Yeah. So here you can order it. That would be cool. And then yeah, that's so okay. Where do I? So should I stop the share this or can I access it somewhere else? In the chat. Yeah.
Yeah, just you can just leave it in the chat. I mean, for anybody interested, I think that simple Googling will also take you there. But
yeah, but I will leave it as a reminder.
Yes, very good. Okay, and so if there are no more questions from the audience, then I would thank you once again and wish you all the best with the touristic bus project that now we're all awaiting from Screenwalk. And I would like
I will send you more infos. Yeah.
Yes, yes, please do, please do. And then
oh man, I forgot I just wanted to make a joke about how we get there, but it's a bus, of course. It's not a not the other thing. Okay, great. Okay.
Well, thank you so much for taking us through this project, and of course showing us like all of these different layers of how these images travels, shape, modify realities, and also how all of these kind of different images also went from the book and back into Instagram. I really love that.
Thank you from my side too. Thank you so much, Stefan, for introducing us the work, and thank you to everyone who has joined tonight to this Screenwalk.
Just one last reminder, if you have the chance, if you want to support us, please do consider going on folders.screenworks.com, and you will also be able to get a folder with your own custom name where John and I can curate some files that we can drop on your own personal folders. So thanks again.
Thank you so much.
Thank you as well. Thanks.